Welcome to the On Brand Podcast, the show where we dive into branding, marketing, and living life on brand. I'm your host, Jessica Carr, a marketing strategist with over a decade of experience helping businesses of all sizes amplify their impact and connect with their audience. Together, we'll explore actionable strategies, inspiring stories, and the latest trends to elevate your business and personal brand. Whether you're an entrepreneur, a creative, or someone ready to make bold moves, you're in the right place. Let's do this. Before I dive into this week's podcast, I just want to give a little bit of a heads up. My voice is not totally up to standard of where I would like it to be. There is a massive wildfire that's burning nearby where I'm living this summer. And it's been going on for about 2 weeks now, and the air quality is pretty awful at this point, and it's really affecting my throat. It's really scratchy, it feels really sore. So I apologize for that in advance, but the show must go on. So we're recording a podcast episode anyways. With that being said, let's get to it. What if marketing was the most generous thing you could do? Think about that question. What if the thing you've been avoiding, marketing, is actually the most loving, generous, and transformative act you could do in your business? Now, I have some examples here. If Ada Lovelace never shared her invention of computer coding, we would not have the technology we have today. If Hedy Lamarr, quote-unquote, stuck to what she knew as a Hollywood actress, we wouldn't have Wi-Fi. And if Anne Tuscamato, I hope I'm saying that correctly, wasn't brave enough to create and share her patent on isolating human stem cells, my mother wouldn't be alive today. Now, marketing isn't about ego or self-promotion. It's about service. It's about saying, I see your pain, and I have something that can help. Now, when I'm first talking to somebody about marketing in their business, I love to put it this way. Entrepreneurship is finding the solution to someone's pain. Now, with that being said, marketing is how people find the solution to their pain. You can't help the people you're called to help if they don't know about you or don't know who you are. I know if you are listening to this podcast, you are a purpose-driven entrepreneur. You created a business idea because you saw an opportunity to help others. So by hiding yourself or holding back, you are actually doing your audience a disservice. Now, I'm going to give some personal examples here. At the beginning of this episode, I mentioned my mother wouldn't be here without stem cells. Now, this is an extreme example, but I really want to drive this point home. Just over 10 years ago, my mother was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis after being misdiagnosed or undiagnosed for 20 to 25 years. She was not responding to any medications or treatments at all, and she was just progressing. There was actually a documentary that was shown on 60 Minutes about a stem cell treatment in Russia that was being done called HSCT. And it was saving the lives of these MS patients. And my mother happened to come across this 60-minute episode and learned about the treatment. And she and her partner at the time investigated it further, and they found that there was actually a doctor in Chicago who was performing a clinical trial with the same treatment. And my mother was lucky enough to get in. So she went into this clinical trial in Chicago. And what they did is they took out some of her bone marrow and the stem cells in it, and they cleansed her stem cells, and they threw her through chemo. And after chemo, they reintroduced those stem cells. And it stopped and reversed her MS. And before that treatment, she was given a year left to live. She was borderline progressive remissive. And because she wasn't responding to any treatment, they didn't have a lot of hope for her. but it's over 10 years later, and she's still here. She's thriving. She's doing extremely well. She's been in documentaries. She's been on Good Morning America. She's shared her story so many times, trying to tell more people about this MS treatment to hopefully save more lives. So without that first 60-minute episode, which that's a form of marketing, by the way, PR and marketing right there, my mother wouldn't be alive today. And neither would the countless people that she has shared her story with, who have also been able to seek that treatment. If that wasn't convincing enough for you, here's an example that's similar. I had a horse who passed away just a few months ago. She was the love of my life. And a few years ago, she was a medical mystery case. She had some sort of unexplained lameness, and I took her to a university veterinarian, and they did all sorts of tests on her. They did all sorts of imaging, ultrasounds, full body bone scans, you name it. We tried everything, and no one could figure out what was causing her lameness issues and why she was suffering and why she was in so much pain. And I almost gave up on her, but I stumbled across a podcast episode that was talking about one of the issues that she was experiencing. And I listened to this episode, and it was a veterinarian who started a podcast because she was finding some really unique things with the horses that she was treating, and no one else was talking about it. She's the leading mystery lameness vet in the country. And in order to get the information out to people that she was finding and help more horses, she started a podcast. And I found that podcast, and we were able to find the root cause to her issues. This vet has saved the lives of countless horses who have been able to go on and have amazing careers being ridden again and live out their lives without pain. And that's because she was brave enough to get on a podcast mic like this and tell her story and share what her findings were. And that is marketing. So when I talk to business owners about their business, I get a lot of objections when it comes to their lack of marketing. Some will say, I don't want to be seen, or I don't want to grow too fast, or I hate social media. To me, that just says they're scared of being seen and putting themselves out there. So I have another question for you. Is the pain you are solving greater than your fear of being seen? And I hope that answer is yes. So where do we go from here? Because change is scary, and it's hard to put ourselves out here. Trust me, I know. I struggle with that as well. I've been doing marketing for over 10 years, and I still struggle with my own marketing. It's definitely like imposter syndrome. It's perfectionism. We all struggle with it a little bit. So I understand where you're coming from. I'm going to give you some things to think about or some tools for you. So I have 3 prompts for you that might make it easier to make your next post. And the thing is, once you get started with creating content and putting yourself out there, it's easier to keep going. And something to remember is that at the beginning, no one's going to be watching you. No one's going to know who you are, right? Because the algorithm for any social media platform actually isn't going to push you out until you're really consistent. They don't really love people who post and ditch. So no one's going to see you at first anyways. And the more consistent you get, the better you're going to be. And the better you are in your content, the more confidence you're going to have, but also the better quality it is and more people will see it and appreciate it. So you have to start somewhere, okay? So don't be afraid to start. But here are some prompts that you can use to get started. So the first one is, I want you to ask yourself, what do I wish someone had told me when I was struggling with blank? The next one is, what's a belief I can help someone shift today? So this podcast episode is an example of that. And then the third one is, what's one decision my ideal client is stuck on, and how can I help them get clarity? All right. That's the wrap for today's episode. I hope this might have changed your mindset a little bit about marketing and why it's important to do it and why you should be doing it. Thank you so much for listening to the episode, and until next time. Thank you for listening to the On Brand podcast. If you found today's episode valuable, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who'd love it too. Until next time, keep amplifying your impact and living on brand.